It is Saturday morning in Mason, Ohio, and here we are once again at Kings Island for Halloween Haunt. Last year I got here just a couple of seconds too late for the opening of the Haunt event at 6 p.m. I won't be missing that this time, but we're obviously here for many reasons today. Some of them bittersweet. It's the final year for Vortex, one of my favorite roller coasters, or really a coaster that was responsible for bringing me to parks like this from abroad, from where I live, far reaches, and also a classic aero ride that I'm really not too happy about losing, but we'll cover that later on when I do get on the ride. As you'll notice, also Kings Island, I think this is, and I'm going to confirm this tonight, might be the best Halloween or haunt event that I've ever attended at an amusement park. Just look at the facade of the building leading in, or the entrance to get into the park. It's a haunted house. Like, they spare no expense at this event, and it's really well put together. And also, I remember from last year, just the lighting and the smoke and just the overall atmospherics of the park were just unbelievable compared to just, say, Cedar Point up the road, which we'll be visiting tomorrow, so hopefully maybe we'll get a different perspective of that. So join me. We're going to do a Kings Island vlog today. It's going to probably be a long one because we've got a lot to cover. Last time that I was here, I didn't really get much. I kind of just experienced the event, but this time I'm not going to make that mistake, and we're going to have a great time. I am going to split the day into two. I'm going to be taking advantage of the exclusive ride time, which is going on right now. It hasn't actually started because there's nobody that's actually been entering the park yet. We're just in the opening plaza here, where all the season's pass holders are basically waiting to get in, because Vortex is one of the rides that is on ERT today. In addition to that, you obviously have a pretty major announcement, which is, if you're British and you want to pronounce correctly, Orion is coming to Kings Island next year, or Orion as we know it. So we're going to have a little bit of a look at the construction. The cranes for the lift hill just came in actually last week, so we'll have a peek at that. And yeah, so join me. It's a really action-packed day here at Kings Island.
Get the update. Portion of new
Okay, bit of an update. It's actually Diamondback, Mystic Timbers, and Vortex that are on ERT, so I'm kind of torn. I don't really know which to do. I'm thinking maybe going to Diamondback first and then doing Vortex, because I don't really think most of the people that are coming to this park are aware that Vortex is going to be gone next year anyway, so I doubt you'll really have that much of a long line. Diamondback always has a long line. Last time I was here, I did Mystic Timbers like 4 times in a row in the morning, so I'm going to give that a pass unless time permits. But we're off here. An exclusive half hour here at Kings Island, which is pretty kick. Still overrated, this ride, Diamondback. Just did the back seat ride, and a lot of head rattle on the bottoming out of those hills. So once you reach the bottom of any hill in the back, all I can think about is how many aspirins I'm going to be taking today, because it's a bit rough. It is October. It's only 2 weeks left in operation, so that might be different come May, at the beginning of the season. But I don't know, I just found it a little bit too rattly for a B&M of this type. Also, it's quite an enjoyable ride. I definitely think it was the best in the back seat. I'm in the front seat line right now, so I'm going to probably provide a better insight into that. This guy running the ride today, he just actually sang some Rick Ashley as we came back into the station. So again, the ride ops in this park, I do have high praise. Hopefully that continues for the whole day. But yeah, we're going to do one more ride on Diamondback, and then we're going to move on to Mystic Timbers, and then we're going to end with Vortex. So it looks like I'm going to get a lot of good rides in, at least 6 rides in before the crowd gets into the park, which is awesome, because I didn't get on Diamondback more than twice in 13 hours last time I was here.
That all clear means you guys are out of here. You're currently riding the Bat, the best from 1993 to 1993. It was only good for 1 year. Oncoming riders. riders, once those gates open up, come on in, quickly take your seat and buckle up. Seatbelt first, lap bar second. Welcome back, Red Train. How was your ride? Sounds good.
So that's it. 2 quick rides on Diamondback, front and back. And I'm going to say the front was a bit better. Definitely better airtime on the top of those hills, or the airtime hills, obviously. But less head rattle going down into the drops as well, or at least the valleys. So yeah, it was a much more enjoyable ride in the front for me, even though I'm a backseat rider primarily. And the ride sensation, I'd say, was a little bit more solid in the back, but as far as like the roughness that I was experiencing in the back, definitely corrected in the front. That said, overall, I must say this particular type of ride, or B&M design, I don't know what it is, but I'm just not too keen on this compared to a ride like Behemoth or Behemoth at Wonderland. I don't know. The airtime, the overall layout, and the speed. Diamondback today wasn't really heavily trimmed, so it's running pretty fast, but it still just gives me that meh sensation when I get there. What I don't get a meh sensation from is Mystic Timbers, which I'm very excited about returning to. I was blown away by this ride last year when I rode it for the first time. I rode it 5 times in a row. I was so impressed. In fact, I'm gonna ride this ride right now, and I may make a bold statement after it's done, so we'll see. But here we go, Mystic Timbers. Intentionally meaning to go on and on and on, but at the end of the day, I have to say it, like, I've not had a bad ride on that coaster, and I just got my second backseat ride on it ever, and what an amazing ride. Like, Mystic Timbers, man. It's the best wooden coaster I've been on. I think I've said that already. It's time for one of the most tragic moments in the history of this vlog. We're saying goodbye to Vortex. A ride that was really responsible for me even coming to the States to ride roller coasters, and really a hallmark ride of a company that I once admired so much when it existed. I was really kind of obsessed with this park and this ride for a long time, inclusive of the Beast. And now, unfortunately, it has 1 more weekend left of operations, and then it's gone. It's gonna be scrapped. And you know, it is what it is. It's not running the way it was maybe even 20 years ago when I first rode it, but it is time to say goodbye to Vortex. And one of the best logos that Cedar Fair, well, really the Taft Group have ever come up with. So if they have commemorative merch of this occasion, I'm definitely going to get it. I will not lie, I've already done my front and back ride on this ride because I've been talking to some enthusiasts. There's a lot here today. It's obviously a special event. It's not that busy, but yeah, we're all coming to say our last sort of goodbyes to one of the most iconic rides in American coasting history. Farewell, Vortex. I'm really I'm obviously not too enthused with the announcement. It is what it is. If this were Japan, as I was saying to one enthusiast earlier, that this ride would be running for another 100 years. But here, unfortunately, there's a different standard when it comes to that sort of thing. So if you can, and it's probably too late for you right now when you've watched this vlog to actually get down here and try it, but if you have not been able to experience this ride and the roughness that really it comes with it, you're not missing too much now. There's no denying that this ride was really a trendsetter and a game breaker for what was to come. In fact, all the rides and coasters in this park have kind of like surpassed the offering of what Vortex can give. So, you know, it is what it is. Progress is progress, but as I've argued in my other sort of rant vlog on aerodynamics itself, there should be a place for these rides, because 10 years from now, people are going to say, oh, I'd love to ride Vortex one more time, and that's just not going to be possible. So, yeah, that's what it is. Do I think it's a great ride still? Still think it's a decent ride. Still think it's one of the best aero loopers out there. Is it rough? Definitely. Probably more rough. It didn't really matter, actually. Both front and back, it was pretty rough. But that's just going to come with the course of time. The ride was not designed according to standards that we have today. The ride was basically done with the design with rudimentary computers that we couldn't even fathom are assisting people to design, or companies like B&M to design stuff like Orion right next to us today. So goodbye, Vortex.
The back end. I think it's the back end where the turnaround is and everything else.
Welcome back. How was that ride? Sounds amazing. Pull down the shut.
I can't believe that this is going to be the last time that I'll be in this station riding this iconic ride. When I first came to this park, this was one of the reasons I came, if not the main reason I was increased. And now it is no more. It's amazing how things progress over time. I am making that argument, though, that without a ride like this, we wouldn't be where we are today. We forget about the contribution that aerodynamics made to the roller coaster community. Well, not even the community, just the roller coasters in general, about pushing boundaries in the 80s and early 90s to the point where the company went bankrupt. And I'm very fearful of a day when we won't even have examples of what they were trying to achieve because they've all been torn down. Most aero coasters exist in the United States, and most of the parks in the United States seem to be okay. We're just kind of getting rid of them and moving them on to more modern designs. So I'm going to have my first ride on Vortex for today. We're close to the front. We're actually a couple seats from the front here. And yeah, I'll give you my review after. Other things I gotta say before I forget. This is the best corkscrew in the world. Even though it's very painful, the fact that it's so high up off the ground in this valley, the sensation of looking down from it when you're actually at the apex, it's pretty cool. If you can get over the headbanging. I also love the bat wing section of the ride as well, which is fantastic, even though that is really rough too. It's not as rough as you know, it's probably not the roughest I've been on. The one at Darien Lake on Viper is more rough. But this ride is what it is. It was the first with the 6 inversions, so it's a record breaker for its time. But yeah, it's time to say goodbye, and I'm enjoying the fact that so many people are actually taking the time out from all over the world, it looks like, to come out and do so. So, farewell, Vortex. Outer Limits. Now, having just ridden Vortex and now this, I don't know what perspective people have when it comes to roughness on rides, but that ride is way more rough than Vortex was. It's painful. That being said, it's still a decent ride. But yeah, I don't know. I've always found it pretty rough, even when I was here the first year it opened and found it quite intense. They have smoothed out that launch from when it first opened, that's for sure, but overall experience, ouch. Like that first inversion, my neck yanked to the right going into it. Not because I did it on purpose, but just the pure G-force just really kind of like almost knocked my head off. So that's Outer Limits. I didn't do it here I didn't do it last time that I was here. So I had to kind of get that done. And we're going off to another ride that I didn't really get to experience fully the last time I was here because the park was so busy. And that's Banshee. So that's what's coming next. Getting my backseat ride, which I had to beg for a bit in order to actually get on Banshee. I think I could give a thorough review on what is this ride, but just an inverted, it's an American inverted ride. And what I mean by that is that everything on this ride is just big. The elements are just bold and big and just going for the obviously to break every record that an inverted has. That being said, I don't think it's the best inverted coaster in Ohio. I think Raptor's still better. It's just something about that older design and the speed that it takes in the layout. Whereas this one, obviously, it has its issues with the vest restraints, etc. I really just find that this, while not a bad coaster, is just not as extreme as I would expect. In fact, there was some people on the ride with me that were saying that their mom could go on it, it's so smooth. So that's a little bit unfortunate in the sense that this is supposed to be the king of inverted coasters. You can tell I've been riding a bit here. But yeah, I like it. It's definitely in, say, my top 5 inverteds. But is it the best in the world? Certainly not. I'd say that the first section of the ride is probably the best, actually. Is this Immelman that it takes at just such a weird speed and such a weird angle that you really get a lot of floating sensation. And yes, without the vest restraints, you get even more. The loop is fantastic. And then when you get to the second part of the ride, you really are dealing with some pretty tame elements. Like the bat wing element at the back. Like it's just, you kind of are really in a position where you're kind of looking in awe at all the cleared space that Son of Beast once actually utilized. So I was finding myself looking at things outside of the ride rather than enjoying the ride itself. Because it just takes every element a little too slow. That last inline twist before you get to the helix before the station, like how slow is that? Like I don't know, we really like slogged through it. I'm not really, I'm gonna take one side of the fence on this particular ride and say that it's really kind of a bit overhyped than what people say it is. Mainly because if you've never been on an inverted, this ride is incredible. But if you have, and I've been on many, including like what I think is the best, which is Montu, this ride really pales in comparison with the older versions. B&M has really tamed up over the years, and Banshee is very indicative of that fact. So it's 12:30 and we're gonna start our scare fest here now. So this is blackout. I did do it last year in the dark. Now I'm gonna do it in the day. It was actually pretty good last year. You hold a rope with a group of people and you go through a space that you basically can't see anything. I've been on a couple versions of this, but this was probably the best I've been on. So yeah, hopefully during the day it doesn't take away from the experience. Also nearby, which is not open yet, is another attraction just over here in the old Son of Beast station. If there's anything that you should avoid, it's that scare maze, because it's pretty much the weakest of all the ones on offer here. I'll probably try that again tonight just to see if there's any difference, but I didn't like it that much. I forget the name of it, but I'll definitely cover it later. So I'm gonna give you my opinion on blackout once we get out, because yeah, it's basically just a walk-in right now, so might as well take advantage of it while I can. Alright, so that's blackout done. It was much shorter than I thought it would be. I think maybe it's actually a larger setup at night. I might have to try it again because yeah, there was a bit of light leak going on in there, so you could kind of see what was going on, and there was no scare actors as well. So I don't know. They seem to be staggering the openings. This guy's had it for the day. He's had it. They seem to be staggering the openings of the scare mazes, and obviously the scare zones aren't even running right now, so we'll see how this works later on. I might try that one again, because I remember enjoying it last year. It wasn't so great this time. It's starting to get that drawl going. I apologize for the appropriation of accent here.
Oh, I think it was that.
So confirmation, that is Wolfpack. That is the scare maze that's in the old Son of Beast area. Honestly, I was so unimpressed with it last year that I'm going to skip it if there's a line. If there's no line later on tonight when they open it up, I might give it a shot. But the only real reason to go in that room is really to just sort of look back on what was of the Son of Beast station, because the scares in there was just, they were few and far between. And there's some really good scare mazes that are pretty much on the other side of this park that I'll be going to later on, that I'll definitely cover. But yeah, give that one a pass if you're here and you have limited time. Just got off the bat, and it might be my only ride of the day. Now, this line is the longest that I've found in the entire park, and I was kind of confused because, as you can see them down there, none of the other roller coasters really have that much of a line. They're pretty much like 10-minute waits. And I found out why when I got on it. Slowest lift hill ever. Like, wow, it really slogs up there. I know that our version at home, or my version, which is Canada's Wonderland's Vortex, which is the original design of this ride, which this is a clone of, is the best inverted coaster design ever created. This is a masterpiece by Arrow, so fortunately this park will still have one. But it's really Wonderland's to brag about, because it was built for that park, and the layout was uniquely built for the mountain and for the lake, where they just kind of plopped this one into the valley that was available. That being said, it's pretty tame. Like it is basically the same experience, but it's not quite the same as the original version. So I wouldn't really do more than one ride of this ride if you're bothering to come out here, front or back. I did the back. I prefer the back on this ride. There's just a lot more snappiness and swing in those final sort of turns. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. Formerly Top Gun. I do like the fact that they brought the Bat name back for this ride when they had to rebrand it. So that's one top mark on it. But it needs a little TLC. It's a little like rusty looking and that, but yeah, that's the Bat for you.
You see that right there? That looks horrifying if it was on any other line.
Oh my.
It's not bad.
I know it's not that.
I think it is. Trust me, it is.
Just gotten off a drop tower behind me. I'm gonna have to say that good ride. nice amount of force on that drop. I've never been on a gyro drop before, oddly enough. But the thing that scared me the most about this ride was the view from the top, because you could see the stream of cars coming in to the parking lot. It's more than 2/3 full, so despite it being pretty slow right now, it's going to be a busy night here. I can tell that. It's very similar to my experience here last time. In fact, this whole section here was a very frustrating area for me because there's a bottleneck. The Scream Zone food counter is like one of the most popular in the park, and people trying to get to Banshee in the back area with Blackout and Wolfpack, etc. It just becomes like this mass of people that aren't moving. I'm sure I'll cover that later on tonight. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to hustle to get a couple of attractions in that I want to get before it does get really busy tonight. That includes Backlot Stunt Coaster, another ride in Mystic Timbers. Beast is closed today. There's a lot of enthusiasts here, so I'm sure that many are not really pleased about that. But God, I hope I get my night ride on Beast. I'll wait 2 hours for that today. That's pretty much going to be my priority for the evening. And then other than that, yeah, Invertigo's on a 45-minute wait already, so I'm just going to give that a pass. I've done it before. I know how rough it's going to be. And yeah, we're going to move on and get a couple other things done before I take my break and then come back for the second half of my day. The bottleneck. Just came from Banshee looking at the line because the ride app says 15-minute wait time. It's a bit laggy. It started with a 60-minute wait time at the beginning of the day when there was nobody on it. It's still claiming 15 minutes, but it's probably now at a 45-minute wait. So we're going to move on and go against the flow of traffic here. Hopefully get on those two rides that I want to get on before it's too late. Although to be honest, it's 2 o'clock. I've done 2 rides on Banshee. I've done the Bat, I've done Mystic Timbers, I've done Vortex twice, I've done Outer Limits Flight of Fear. I've pretty much covered almost the coasters that you will want to ride when you come here. So there's just Adventure Express and Backlot left for me if the Beast doesn't open. But I'm banking on it opening at least for night tonight. All right, further to what I said there, that is the Vortex line behind me, as you can see. It has grown substantially. It was very smart to get those rides in earlier. I will have a dark ride on this later today as well to top it all off as my final send-off to this great coaster that's maybe not running so great anymore. But there might be a fast pass situation coming because, yeah, it's getting really busy all of a sudden. We got technicals, so we've gone to cell phone. We're out of power. That's not going to last because I'm actually going to go on my break. I'm also going to go into the place next to Mystic Timbers here, Brew House, which this year has been actually themed for Haunt, which is nice. Nice to see that they're actually adding things over the years, including vlog bombers everywhere. I'm not even like the biggest channel in this place right now. Coaster Kids and El Toro Ryan are here, but I'm getting vlog bombed left, right, and center. Missed my second ride on Mystic Timbers because it is now on a hour-long wait, which, having just waited for that escape room attraction, I don't think I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to just cover some VIS for you guys, get a little bit of an Orion update, although, as I said, there's enough enthusiasts here with channels that they're probably already covering that as well, so it's probably going to be pretty brief. And then we're going to enjoy the Haunt. I'll wrap up the day portion of this video, and I'm going to split it into the Haunt event later on tonight, which I'll cover in a separate video, so do join me for that as well. What have I got to say about Mystic Timbers, though? This is my favorite wood coaster I've ever ridden. I'm going to go and say it right now. After that first ride that I had today, it just basically qualified everything that I thought, and this ride is unrelenting. I love the way that it basically takes that valley, at least those like hard, fast, low to the ground turns,
or just like over banked sort of like zigzag patterns that it takes along its course. It's not a straight out and back, it's an undulating out and back, and it's fantastic. The theming at the end in the shed, it is what it is. At least it works, I'll say that much, but like it doesn't really add anything to the experience. Once you get into that brake run, it's really done. But everything from that first drop leading into that brake run, just fantastic. For a smaller ride that doesn't seem to really have much to it when you're looking at it from afar, really it does pack a crazy punch. It's better than Beast when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, if you're coming here, I would probably put it on the top of the list of priorities to ride first if you get here early, because then you'll get a couple rides in before it gets busy later on. So I'm gonna take a break. Just so you think I'm not crazy, this is the line for Chick-fil-A right behind me. Yeah, it goes, and then it's got a queue over there. So yeah, we're out of here. This is getting on to madness. I'm also not gonna really have an option. I thought that I was gonna get away with not having a fast pass today, but if I want to get on anything else tonight, especially the Beast at night and Vortex at night, looks like I don't have a choice. I'm not really too concerned about the scare attractions because I did buy the pass last year and did them all, and it's really kind of looking like a lot of retread. I'm still going to give reviews of the ones that I liked, and anything that I can get on, I will do, especially the ones that I remember from last year that I did enjoy. But other than that, we're not going to be doing much. We're not going to do the entire event tonight. Obviously, we'll go through the scare zones and stuff, but that's for the other vlog, so I'll probably explain that too. I've escaped Kings Island. I'm back at my hotel, which is just behind me. Well, not behind me, but in front of me, but no point in seeing that. But right across the parking lot is this amazing patio. As you saw those lines in Kings Island, I've managed to squander all the way back out here. I actually walked because I have such a good parking spot that I actually walked all the way. There's no sidewalks to get to where the hotels are on the other side of the highway, just an FYI. But I didn't take you on that journey, but just so you know, in case you're in that situation, yeah, you're gonna kind of have to rough it a bit. So I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna have a beer and something to eat, then I'm gonna go back for the haunt. I'm gonna wrap up a bit here, and then I'm gonna wrap up at the park for the day portion of the vlog, and then we're gonna do a night portion for Halloween haunt as well. I do have a fast pass, which I didn't really, it's in there, I swear it is. But I have a fast pass plus for the Beast and Vortex and everything else. As I said, I'm not messing around today. I really want to make sure I don't leave disappointed and don't get that night ride on the Beast. Now I'm going to get a couple of them, plus Vortex, plus a couple others like Mystic Timbers as well. So join me for a little bit of a break, and we'll go back to the park, and then we'll wrap everything up. This is the end of the vlog. I'm sorry for the shaky camera, but I spent more time in that bar back there than anticipated. A, the pints are $2 American, so compared to probably $8 in Kings Island, deal. But I'll also say, the reason why I'm out of breath is because I'm starting to run back to the park, because I spent way too much time there in the bar. I saw more scary things occur in that bar than I've seen in all of the haunts that I've ever seen across the world. In 1 hour, I wish I could have shot everything. One guy passed out on a stool. Other people, I don't know, it was just a farce. Whew, I'm out of breath. I had almost a better time in 1 hour at that bar than I've had through most of the experiences here at the haunt. But they also did say, because they're very in touch with what's happening in this area, that Cedar Point apparently last night closed people off from entry because they were over capacity, which means that I need to get back to Kings Island, which is why I'm here stood on an intersection out of breath before I run in. If you want to see how this goes, you might as well join me for the latter portion of this vlog, which will be a separate video on the haunt. Alright, I think I'm out of breath enough. I'm gonna run across this highway, and that's it.